Before diving into the story, it is highly recommended that you watch the first part of the video. If you have already done so, please continue watching. If not, the link to the first part can be found in the video description. This will ensure that you have a proper understanding and context of the story as it unfolds. With that, let's move into the story. Previously, in search of the leader of Blood of Fangs, our protagonist Roman left for Lawrence. After an hour of searching, Roman finally found the leader of the goons. He tortured him in an attempt to extract information about their dirty plans. However, the leader refused to talk, even going so far as to sacrifice his own life for the gang. Roman was impressed by the leader's daring attitude, as he believed that people who don't easily open their mouths usually have the most valuable information. Taking it to the next level, Roman showed the leader a photo of his son and threatened to kill him if he didn't cooperate. The leader, however, refused to identify his son and instead, he berated Roman for using his family as bait. Being a noble, Roman knew that it didn't suit him to use such tactics. Nevertheless, through the leader's resistance, Roman came to understand that these guys were heavily indebted to Blood of Fangs, which was why, even though they were not inherently bad people, they had to do as they were told. As the leader of the goons dismisses Roman's threats, Roman makes it clear to him that if he doesn't speak the truth about Blood of Fangs, they will not hesitate to kill his family. He implores the leader to consider taking his side instead. Soon we are shown an old man, presumably a high-ranking member of Blood of Fangs, discussing Roman's capabilities. He expresses his doubt about Roman's ability to kill all the goons and mentions his goal of killing the Dimitris in order to raise their status. However, Roman's sudden change of attitude is a hindrance to achieving his goal. The old man then asks one of his men about Roman's current location and is informed that Roman has left the kingdom. Upon learning that Roman plans to attack their headquarters alone, the old man becomes frustrated and orders his men to gather all their army and begin strategizing to kill Roman Dimitri. He also ordered his men to do whatever it takes to stop Roman to achieve his goal. The old man, consumed by his desire for power and control, decides that the only way to set an example for those who dare to attack Blood of Fangs is to kill Roman and publicly display his dead body in the central plaza. He wants to make sure that everyone knows the consequence of going against them. The story then shifts to a meeting of the king in the Lawrence kingdom, where they are discussing the Borko family's preparations for war against them. One of the officials informs the king that the central government is supporting the Borko family, which will lead to an absolute victory for them. The king is then told that they will have no other choice but to give up their own territory. The king of the Lawrence kingdom refuses to give up their territory at any cost, as their kingdom will cease to exist without their soil. Furthermore, the king knows that if they give up their territory, other kingdoms will take advantage of their vulnerability and attack them, leading to an even worse situation. In this dire situation, they remember the Dimitris. Even though they were commoners at the beginning, they are now the wealthiest in their region. The king thinks that they can seek help from the Dimitris in order to protect their kingdom and its people. The king orders his men to contact the Dimitris and seek their help in this situation. Laura, who had been listening to the conversation between the king and his officials, is hesitant to reveal to her father that she broke off her engagement with the Dimitris. She fears her father's reaction and the possible repercussions. However, as she reflects on her true feelings, she musters up the courage to tell her father about her decision. Just as she is about to do so, a soldier rushes in to inform the king of a sudden visit from Captain Jonathan of the Dimitri family. As the king and his officials were preparing to meet with Captain Jonathan, they were shocked to see a dead body being dragged through the streets. The people were frightened and couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was revealed that the body belonged to the leader of Blood of Fangs, who had been beaten and killed by Roman Dimitri. The leader, in his final moments, remembers how Roman had single-handedly attacked his headquarters and killed his soldiers. The leader then kneels down and begs for his life, offering to become Roman's servant for the rest of his life. But Roman refused the offer and instead, he beats the leader in order to remove the fear of Blood of Fangs from the people. A soldier then informs the king and the other members of the court about Roman dragging the leader of Blood of Fangs to them, as well as the fact that he had executed him in front of everyone. Upon hearing this, the king of the Lawrence kingdom is both shocked and troubled. He orders the soldier to summon Roman Dimitri to speak with him. The king questions Roman about his reason for violently killing the leader of Blood of Fangs and entering the kingdom without permission. Roman explains that the brutal and violent assault that Blood of Fangs committed against an innocent person left him with no other choice but to take action and execute them all. Hearing everything, secretly Miss Laura whispers to a soldier and asks him why they brought Roman Dimitri to visit her father. She's curious to know the reason behind this sudden visit of Roman Dimitri and what her father wants from him. The soldier explains that Roman Dimitri had single-handedly taken down the leader of Blood of Fangs and his men, which had been causing trouble for the kingdom for a long time. The king wants to have a word with him, possibly to offer him a reward or a position of power in the kingdom for his bravery. On the other side, the king is furious with Roman for his insolence, as he does not have the authority to execute anyone without the king's permission. Roman, however, bravely defends his actions by stating that the lack of attention and action from the king and his officials towards the matter of blood of Fangs left him with no other choice but to take matters into his own hands. The king, understanding the gravity of the situation, decides to close the case by acknowledging that it was a burden for the Lawrence kingdom which Roman cleared out all alone. He promised Roman that he will be rewarded later and sent him off. However, as Roman and Captain Jonathan were returning to the kingdom, Captain asks Roman why he went that far in taunting the king, which could have led the kingdom into danger. Roman explains that he did what he had to do to protect the innocent and to ensure the safety of the kingdom. As the story unfolds, Heavenly Demon imparts some harsh wisdom to his son Beak, telling him that in order to prove himself worthy of becoming king, he must rule over all the people and not fear death, as his father can simply create another son if one were to perish. However, Beak's resolve is put to the test when a man comes along and starts beating him, mocking him for his perceived weakness. Despite his best efforts to defend himself, Beak is badly beaten and left to nurse his injuries. In the present world, Roman is resting in the bath, cursing his own body for its frailty. Heavenly Demon knows that it would be dangerous for him to just wander around without understanding the customs of this new world, and decides to defy the body of Moron, as being Roman is proving to be too tiring. Captain Jonathan arrived at King Romero's chambers, bearing news of his son, Roman. The captain informed the king that Roman had undergone a sudden transformation, displaying acts of great bravery. King Romero couldn't help but compare his son to a sore thumb, born during his most trying times and having experienced the extremes of life. Memories of Roman's childhood flooded back to the king when he was just a mere commoner, and would give his candy to his father in hopes of completing his work faster and spending more time with him at home. King Romero had always wanted his son to be happy, so he gave him power and authority, but it seemed that Roman had chosen the wrong path. However, the bravery that Roman had recently displayed filled King Romero with hope for his future once again. Later, when Roman came to see his father, the king questioned him about his actions in destroying the Blood of Fangs, a notorious band of bandits that had been terrorizing the kingdom for years. Roman explained to his father the details of his plan and how he had successfully led his troops to defeat the Blood of Fangs, ensuring the safety and security of the kingdom and its people. King Romero listened to his son's tale with pride and admiration, marveling at the courage and leadership that Roman had displayed. He realized that perhaps Roman had not chosen the wrong path after all, and that he had the potential to be a great leader and king. From that day forward, King Romero made sure to support and guide his son, grooming him to be the leader that the kingdom needed. And thus, under Roman's rule, the kingdom flourished and prospered, with the people living in peace and security. Roman, however, didn't want his father to have high hopes for him and was in a dilemma about whether or not to tell the truth. As he pondered, memories of his childhood flooded back to him when he was often beaten up by bullies. He remembered how he had picked up a rock one day and smashed it against the face of one of his tormentors, killing him in the heat of the moment. He grieved over the fact that he had never been loved by his parents like other children and how he had always had to prove his worth to them. But ultimately, he had reigned over them all, proving his worth to his father, the Heavenly Demon. Meanwhile, training was going on in the kingdom until it was interrupted by the captain as the king entered the training area. The captain then asked the trainees to have a duel with Roman Dimitri, but everyone took it as a joke to have a duel with such a coward. Moving 1 hour back into the story, Roman answered the king that he had defeated the Blood of Fangs. To not let Romero suspect his demon self, Roman explained that he had been secretly training as a swordsman. Roman wanted to prove himself to his father, which was why he had hidden everything from him. He also told his father that to break the bandits' whole gang's foundation, he had abducted their leader from their headquarters. Thinking about his son's bravery, careful decision-making skills, and abilities, King Romero was impressed with his son. The king then asked Roman to do him a favor and show him his true swordsmanship, the skills he had trained for secretly. King Romero truly wanted to see his son's true skills with his whole heart. Coming back to the present, none of the trainees wanted to volunteer as they were afraid of being kicked out if they won against the prince. But Captain Jonathan had a different opinion. He wanted someone with the best skills to spar with Roman Dimitri to not let the pride of the knights down. So he chose Chris, the vice-captain of Dimitri Knights, as the one suitable to duel with Roman Dimitri. But Chris, having a pathetic and miserable image of old Roman, didn't want to have a duel with him because he believed that old Roman couldn't fight. However, since the captain of the knights had ordered him, he was left with no choice but to fight him. But, taking advantage of old Roman's perceived weakness, Chris asked for swords in the duel. As soon as the fight started, Roman blocked Chris's sudden attack, shocking him. Chris, being a swordsman, didn't hold back and charged at Roman with his sword, trying to beat him. But Roman dodged the attack smoothly, giving Chris no room to think. Roman told him that it was indeed a good warm-up for him and that now it was time for a real fight. Roman attacked Chris, pushing him into a corner and forcing him to resort to only defensive skills against Roman. But when he was about to lose against Roman, Chris started using his special power, where Jonathan tried to stop him from doing so as it was pretty dangerous. Chris used his power, 1-star aura. But even using his special power against him, Chris lost, as Roman was a heavenly demon, a Giga Chad, not a mere commoner. Thank you for tuning into our Manhwa recap video. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. We understand that it can be challenging to follow a complex story, so we are glad that we could provide you with a comprehensive summary of the events. Stay tuned for more updates and future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Also, please leave your comments, feedback, and suggestions below. We value your opinions and want to make sure we bring you the content you want to see. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.